Carolina, number 4 Duke. Mike Krzyzewski, after feeling dizzy on Wednesday, had some tests, went to the hospital. He says he's fine, he's back, he's coaching, and he's raring to go here tonight. So is Shannon Spade.
Well, Dan, despite that health scare that you just mentioned for Coach K, don't expect him to approach this game any differently. Assistant coach Steve Wojciechowski told me if Coach K could not come out here and give 100%, he wouldn't be out here. And every single player in a Duke uniform knows that tonight is a 100% 40-minute game, and one of their key focuses will be to try to take Marcus Paige out of this game. Paige has certainly developed into a second-half player over the season. 16 games, he scored single digits in the first half, only to go on to double digits. His teammates call him second-half Paige.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Underway here at Cameron. The seniors are starting for Duke. Tyler Thornton has been starting. Andre Dawkins and Josh Hairston join him in the starting lineup tonight. A very emotional scene. Jay, Dick, you guys have been here forever, longer than I have. This is about as loud as I've ever heard this place.
Well, it's certainly really loud, but Jay, you were part of an emotional night, senior night. It's special.
James Michael McAdoo hits the side of the backboard.
McAdoo guarding Parker. Parker's going to want to try to put it on the floor and attack the basket. McAdoo's an outstanding athlete. He's going to have to try to stay in front.
He guarded him in the first matchup as well. Parker was good in the first half. Second half really was stymied, was 2 for 5.
Rodney Hood, and Duke's on the board first.
He was great in the first half against North Carolina. Got himself in foul trouble, Jay.
Really good patience coming off that screen.
What a steal by Parker. Dawkins for 3. Well short. Says he got hit on the wrist. Back comes Carolina.
Doesn't count because the ref didn't call it.
Here's Paige. Such an important player.
He's really struggled the last 2 games in 2 tough wins over Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. It was not Marcus Paige.
After the 35-point performance in the overtime win over NC State.
That's one of the better performances all year. T.J. Warren had 36 in that game, came back with 41 against Pittsburgh. Nice fake.
Dawkins knocks down the long deuce. And nearly steals it. Final Four caliber officiating crew. Carl Hess, Ray Natilli, Mike Eads, and listen to the noise here at Cameron. Dawkins, Jay, showing a little shot fake, knocking down an 18-footer.
Well, he's such a good shooter. When he puts a shot fake up, he's got such shot credibility that the defense is going to lift up, then he can put it on the floor.
Nice backdoor cut.
And McAdoo the slam, Tokoto the assist.
Right, Tokoto with the assist, but a great cut by McAdoo. He caught the defense staring at the ball. We've often talked about you got to ball you man, got a vision of both.
Well, North Carolina has always been good at taking advantage of the overplay with the backdoor.
Hood for 3.
Wow. What did Coach K tell us before the game? We have not had one game yet where Hood and Parker together have been scintillating.
Good start for Duke. Offensive foul, Marcus Paige.
Great defensive play there by Thornton to beat him to the spot.
Well, Rodney Hood has drawn the assignment. You go underneath him on a screen, which Tokoto did, an outstanding defender. Rodney Hood is going to pull up and hit it. He was very good coming off with pace off that first ball screen, and then excellent with making the read on that one.
Thornton for 3. And the long rebound out to Parker. Hood's open for 3. And Tokoto skies for the rebound.
He's some athlete, man. He's a skywalker. He's a high riser, Tokoto.
Driving by Hairston, pulls up inside the foul line and gets the bounce.
Tell you, the guy that was big in that first matchup, don't forget about McDonald. He had 21 in that game, and he was really shooting it.
His play in the first half not only kept North Carolina in it, gave them a great opportunity to win that game.
You're right, Jay.
Parker spins baseline. Dawkins, his second 2-pointer, and he draws the foul as well.
And that shows a little versatility because he's normally a stationary jump shooter, catch it and shoot it. He's showing he's putting the ball on the floor. He's saying, Coach, I'm not going to be a token starter right now because it's senior night. You're putting me out there, I'm going to produce, and I'm going to make it tough for you to put me on the pound.
Just a great stop-and-go move by Andre Dawkins.
Fifth-year senior Andre Dawkins from Chesapeake, Virginia. We saw the feature on Game Day this morning, Jay, the show you were a part of. Losing his sister his freshman year, redshirting last year, overcoming all the emotional pain that he went through after the loss of his sister. It's been at times a very difficult time for Andre Dawkins, and at times obviously a very rewarding time for Andre Dawkins.
That was a very moving piece on Game Day this morning. His sister Lacey killed in an automobile accident on the way to see Andre Dawkins play, her brother. And he has fought through a great deal in his career here at Duke and has come out on the other side.
And Mike Krzyzewski just made wholesale changes, 5 for 5, bringing in Cook, Jones, Jefferson, Suleiman, and Plumlee.
He's thinking about fatigue at the end of the game. He wants to get many people in the game. He wants them really rested coming down the stretch.
Tokido has taken a couple of jump shots that I think North Carolina can do without. They need to get the ball inside.
Guys have to know their strengths and weaknesses, and obviously that's not one of his strengths.
Cook the drive, and Page stays right with him.
Great defensive effort by Page there to stay between him and the basket on Cook. Getting over the top of that screen.
Blocked by Page. And rather than throw it to a Duke player, he does the smart thing, Jay, and he just turns it over dead ball.
Marcus Page has become a shot blocker. A game-saving block against Eric Adkins in that Notre Dame game on Monday night, and then blocking a shot with that left hand. What a great decision not to throw that ball back in under the Duke basket.
Absolutely. So many times we see that, and he converts a layup on that basket.
Four minutes in, Duke by 6 here on senior night at Cameron.
All you young kids, you watch Mr. Plumlee. He's earned his playing time. Great work ethic.
Good help by Tokido on that drive.
Jefferson driving on McAdoo, rejected by McAdoo. And that'll take us to our first media timeout of the night. Duke off to a good start with an early 6-point lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And in part by Infinity. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
When your cable's on the fritz, you get tense.
Oklahoma in the house.
Who scored more points, Billy Tubbs or Barry Switzer?
Barry Switzer was Brick City, USA. He's able to coach and win some football games.
Desmond Hubert has checked into the game now for North Carolina.
Gives him a defensive presence. That's been one of the strengths of North Carolina, winning 12 in a row. They're really bought in and starting to play solid team defense.
Roy Williams talked about a sense of urgency. They're just working harder, fighting harder. And we saw that in the second half of their win over Duke a few weeks back. Hubert, nice look. McDonald can't get it off, and a little bit too much, a little bit of overpassing there by the heel.
Well, you know, McDonald had a poor angle. You got to run to that box, man, so you got the angle to use the glass.
And plus, you don't want to give it up to Desmond Hubert that early. Put him in a really bad spot, and I think was difficult on that primary break.
Hey, guys, look how they're challenging on the perimeter. They really shut Duke down from the three. 5 for 22 in that first matchup.
Ball deflected and stolen.
Duke has been very loose with the ball, and Carolina's defense has been very good over the last couple minutes.
Tokido switches hands, can't finish.
Had 2 opportunities, 2 possessions. They come up empty, should have 2 scores.
Jones. Jefferson there for the follow.
Good play by Jefferson on the glass. He's been up and down as a player. He's had some great moments, but a little inconsistent.
McAdoo into traffic, and it's an offensive foul.
Totally out of control, Joe.
Well, the question's not whether he was out of control, it's whether the defense got there in time. It appeared they did.
And for the second time tonight, Mike Krzyzewski subs in all 5 players, bringing back the 5 who started the game. Jay, what do you think is behind this?
I just think trying to get more bodies in there. And this is something that Mike Krzyzewski did for the first time this season against Virginia in a game that I think Duke was looking upon as a must-win game. And he substituted like a hockey game in that one. Line changes every so often.
Dawkins. Remember, Duke's coming off a loss, 82-72. at Wake Forest on Wednesday. The Demon Deacons had a late 17-0 run to take control of that game.
The substitutions help him keep the pressure up for 40 minutes.
And he's trying to work in terms of fatigue. He doesn't want them to be tired at the end. He told us before the game he felt there's a little problem with them physically at the end of the game, mentally as well.
Parker the drive. And the finish and a foul.
That's a big-time drive right there. He made my Rolls-Royce team. Picked my 5 best players in the country. He made my top 5.
Well, that drive was made by James Michael McAdoo trying to gamble for that steal. It took him out of position. All of a sudden, he's on the side of Jabari Parker, and you're not going to be able to stop a terrific driver like Parker. 77% of his shots over the last 12 games have come in the paint, and that's why.
And trouble for Carolina, second on McAdoo. He goes to the bench. Jackson Simmons into the game for the Heels.
That's been a little problem with James Michael, getting in foul trouble. Saw his dad before the game. He was smiling. Ronnie in the Hall of Fame at Old Dominion, 1980. Sparked him to a big win over #1 DePaul.
Nate Britt in at the point now for the Heels. Page moves to the 2-guard. Looking inside, Bryce Johnson. They need some offense from him.
Duke really strapping on the offensive boards. Good block out right there.
Well, Duke's defense has been very good, but North Carolina's got to be tougher in running their offense to get the shot they want. They have not been getting the shot that they want.
Parker. And the rebound down to Britt, but we have a foul call. Tough to hear the whistle, and it's going against Carolina. It'll be on Britt.
Yeah, Britt pushed Josh Hairston when he was going up for that rebound, and Ray Natili caught it from the right side.
I don't think Duke's made a 3 yet. Have they made a 3?
Yeah, they made one early 3.
Oh, yeah, Hood made one early. Yep.
They're 1 of 7 from three-point range. Parker.
Oh, what a big-time move. What a big-time move. Are you serious? That's a big-time player right there, PTP. Jabari Parker. Will this be his last game at Cameron?
Parker just attacking off the dribble with that left hand. Nice little up and under with a step through.
Mike Krzyzewski not happy. He wanted to look at him. He's really furious.
He's saying that he got hit with an elbow after the play. Wants him to look at it.
Talking to Carl Hess, one of the officials tonight. Play resumes.
As that ball screen. Duke really aggressive defensively.
McDonald's. And the follow good for Johnson.
There's the offensive rebound that you talked about, Jay.
Well, and it was in position for an offensive rebound because North Carolina got a better shot. But the ball has not been moving for North Carolina on the offensive end. It's been a lot of dribbling and then an attack of a set defense.
And Hood called for the foul using his right arm to create some space.
So much emotion out there. These kids 8 miles apart. You think about the history of these schools, Hall of Famer coaches. It's been incredible over the years. What matchups.
North Carolina trying to lift everybody up and get some cutting, try to open things up a little bit.
A good hedge by Parker, but it stays with Carolina.
One thing about Duke and Mike Krzyzewski's club, they don't lose back-to-back too often.
Once in the last 5 years. And especially tough to beat, of course, here at Cameron. They've won 32 in a row. Their last loss on this court was 2 years ago in this game to North Carolina on the final weekend of the regular season. Good hands by Hood. Again, it's Carolina ball in on the shot clock.
They're doing a great job on Page. You know, Hood playing Page and really frustrating him right now. He can't get any open looks.
Well, one thing with Marcus Page, you have to find him and you cannot leave him. And having that extra size on him when Rodney Hood is in the game, that really helps limit him.
And the other thing with him, you better be aware of him in the second half, because he might be the best second half player in the country.
Heels can't get it in, so they'll use a timeout. It's all going Duke's way early. But this has always been a very difficult place to play. Yeah, it's a tough environment, but they tend to have pretty good players playing here too, which makes
you know, that's what makes this environment special. What makes it special, they've always had quality teams during the Mike Krzyzewski era. After his first 3 years, it's been superb players, like our buddy Mr. Billis.
Now you're stretching it.
You know, I like to exaggerate a little.
Nice look from Simmons, and Britt lays it in.
There's the two complementary players contributing right there, Simmons and Britt.
Carolina sticking with man-to-man. They've been a very good defensive team all year long, and they've defended fairly well in this one. They just haven't run good offense.
Parker with a floater.
He is really driving the basketball. When he went through a little bit of a slump when they lost to Notre Dame, lost to Clemson, he was shooting jump shots and jump shots.
Yeah, Britt, no. Johnson, yes.
There's the offensive boards again.
Well, Johnson, one of the better rebounders in the ACC, and he is the best rebounder among bench players. Second leading scorer among bench players and the top rebounder.
Now, we should tell you, Kennedy Meeks, by the way, is under the weather, is ill. Not feeling well at all. Don't know how much he'll be available at all. McAdoo's got foul trouble, so Carolina needs all they can get from the rest of the guys up front. So far, though, a good night for Jabari Parker. He's got 7. And Duke is up by 9 after this floater from the outstanding freshman.
Imagine if you could predict an accident.
In a row heading into this game. This is a tough team to figure out. Here's Shannon.
Well, guys, one of the turning points for this season was after the Virginia loss 12 games ago. Marcus Page and James Michael McAdoo, they called a players-only meeting, the only of the season. They talked about the sense of urgency that Roy Williams has been talking about all season. Several of the players told me after that meeting, that is when they all started to buy into it, and that is when this winning streak began.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Page the kick. Leslie McDonald, the three's well short. And away from the ball, we got a foul against Carolina. Going on Bryce Johnson. You can see what they've done in the last 12 games, scoring almost 78 points per game. And look at the three-point shooting numbers. Remember, early in the season, Jay, they didn't have McDonald back yet. It was Page or nobody. At least now they have a second guy who can knock down some shots.
Yeah, that's been helpful, but he didn't knock down shots early. Leslie McDonald really struggled, actually, until the first Duke game in Chapel Hill. But the difference is they didn't change their skill set. They're still not great shooters, with the exception of Page and McDonald. But they're taking and getting better shots. They're running better offense. And I think that's what Roy Williams is upset about, is they haven't run good offense in this game.
I tell you one thing also, we talked about their losses. The free throw line, we've documented this prior. 7 losses, they're 77 for 160. I mean, that is a nightmare. You talk about an Achilles heel, as Al McGuire would have said. It's a nightmare when you got a team that's going to shoot less than 50% of those games that they lost.
For what it's worth, there are still a number of scenarios heading into Greensboro. Duke could wind up as the 3 or the 4. Carolina could wind up as the 2, 3, or 4 heading into the ACC tournament, depending on what happens tonight and what happens for Syracuse down in Tallahassee tomorrow afternoon.
One thing, don't let Jabari Parker shoot that jump shot.
Britt. McAdoo back in with 2 fouls, and he draws a foul as Emil Jefferson tried to step in, but he's called for the block. We know Virginia's number 1. It's simpler for Duke. They win, they're the 3. They lose, they're the 4. For Carolina, they're the 2 if they win tonight and Syracuse loses at Florida State. They're the 3 if they win and Syracuse wins. They're the 4 if they lose here tonight.
Syracuse a different team without Grant in the lineup. He's their 3rd option. He becomes the 3rd guy in the wheel potentially that can score. Right now, without Grant, they really have struggled. You and I saw them at Virginia. It was struggle city.
One of 2 for McAdoo. Virginia's just had an outstanding year. We know that the ACC schedule is not exactly balanced. We understand that, but they've won the league by 3 games outright.
Oh, they've been tremendous. Really playing well. A veteran basketball team. Love it. Harris, Brogdon.
Hood absorbs some contact and still finishes.
Smart play to drive James Michael McAdoo. He's got those 2 fouls. He had to back off.
McAdoo dumps it into Johnson, who's got a chance for 3.
Nice little 2-man play right there. But Hood and Parker playing well early in his basketball game. Mike talked about that, trying to get those 2 on the same page in the game. And both doing it, driving the basketball. Nice little pass right here. McAdoo to Johnson, and they get a deuce.
And there's really no reason for your weak side help not to be there. You're not really worried about North Carolina shooting relocation 3s. There they go, tapping the ball out. North Carolina does that on a missed free throw as well as any team in the country.
Nice look. And Johnson's piling up the points. He's got 8 off the bench already.
He's been absolutely superb off the bench. got to have those guys that come to this. Billy Donovan's got one down there, and Dorian Finney-Smith.
All of a sudden, as poorly as things have gone for Carolina, they're only down by 6.
Marcus Page can really move his feet, stand in front of Suleiman there.
Parker got it back.
North Carolina really extending on the perimeter, really matching up, trying to take away the threes for Duke.
Suleiman quiet so far tonight. Knocks it down.
Nice little 12-footer by Suleiman. He's been up and down this year shooting the ball.
Suleiman on the defensive end taking Marcus Page.
Loose ball. And a held ball which will belong to Carolina. It's a full day of conference championships in women's hoops tomorrow on ESPN. You'll have the Big Ten Championship at 1 Eastern, then Kentucky and Tennessee in the SEC Championship, the ACC Championship at 7, and then the Pac-12 at 9.
The Duke woman hooking up right now with North Carolina.
Up 1 in the last minute of the game. Johnson out, and looked like he might have been knocked a little woozy, shaking his head and blinking his eyes as he comes out. Joel James checks into the game for the first time tonight. Again, Kennedy Meeks may be limited by a stomach ailment that was plaguing him earlier today. He started, played 3 minutes, and hasn't been seen since. McAdoo, Hairston doesn't bite on the fake, makes it tough on McAdoo, but he does foul him.
Well, it's that contact guy's going to go to the free throw line. He's got to convert. Really impressed early in his game the way they've contained Page.
Let's go down to Shannon.
Guys, James Michael McAdoo, he swears to me he is not superstitious, but take a look at his face. So, the beard, the hair, he told me a razor has not touched his face or his head since they started winning. He says his family has been giving him a hard time about it, his friends have as well, but he is not going to shave as long as his winning streak continues.
I'll tell you one thing, I tried that with my ball dome.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You've been trying to grow a playoff beard for 35 years. Huh? Makes them both. What a difference it is for Carolina when guys like McAdoo, Tokido can make their free throws.
Well, they made them in the second half against Duke. That was when they really started knocking some free throws down. They were 13 of 17 in the second half in Chapel Hill.
They made 10 in a row late in the game.
Awful lot of dribbling.
Still Duke ball. They've got a final in for the women's game we just mentioned. Duke defeated at North Carolina. They'll play Notre Dame. Defeated Notre Dame in the ACC Championship. Rodney Hood having some kind of a night.
Superb player. He can score in a multitude of ways.
Britt to James, who draws the foul. Nate Britt's doing some good things off the bench for Carolina tonight, but for Duke, it's been Parker, and it's also been Hood, the redshirt sophomore, knocking down a 3 early, now driving the ball well. Blue Devils up by 8.
These Master Blasts are great. You got to be calm, responsible.
You have to. You have to enjoy this as adults.
As an adult. Oh, 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 oh.
What?
Look.
His buddies helped as well, but he's done it in a variety of ways. There's the left-handed drive to the goal. I'm going to watch him face it up. He's a pull-up, shoot the jumper. Look at that great height on the shot, great arc. There he is with a drive to the goal. What a Marco Polo guy he's been. His buddy Clark is playing well. Look at these two guys really doing a great job. They both got their A games, and that's what Coach K talked about. I need them to have their A games.
Rodney Hood is the only player in the ACC in the top 10 in scoring, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and three-point percentage.
I got a feeling he's going to make all ACC. You like the chances, huh?
That's a tough team to make if you're going to make the top 5 in this league with the individuals. T.J. Warren of NC State's had a fabulous year. Page, Parker.
Baron Ennis up at Syracuse.
Well, K.J. McDaniels
he's
at
a
Clemson.
tremendous player. Yep, Lamar Patterson, Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go on a limb, man. My choice, player of the year, I'm going with Warren down there at North Carolina State. What he has done has been absolutely phenomenal. And I can respect picking anybody else because there's some quality choices. Obviously, Parker, Fair, they've been great as well.
Warren's a good choice, but do you have any reservation that a player of the year should be able to take his team to the NCAA tournament?
That's a good question, Mr. Billis. And I knew you would challenge me with that intellectual ability.
That's not a challenge. It's a question.
Hey, if that was a challenge, you better sit down for a minute.
I just think it's so tough. I'm trying to reward a little bit. I give Parker the diaper dandy of the year. That's a tough one, too, because Ennis was so good.
It's like a baseball MVP coming from a last-place team or a team that doesn't get close to the playoffs.
The one thing that North Carolina needs to do in this game, you can't expect to hold Duke down. They've held him to 1 of 8 from three-point range, and it looks like they're going with a 1-3-1 half-court trap right now that was very successful in Chapel Hill.
And a very athletic player up at the top of that in Tokedo.
That really worked. Remember this? Duke missed 13 shots in a row in the second half. They were up 11, and before long they were down.
Suleiman to Hairston.
Nice little play. Hairston hasn't been playing much at all recently. Senior night, gets himself a deuce inside.
He, Dawkins, and Thornton all started tonight's game.
North Carolina has to get tougher on the offensive end to be able to get the shot they want, which they have not gotten for the most part in this first half.
McAdoo playing with 2 fouls, banks at home.
He's being aggressive offensively, though. He really is. He's not playing kind of passively like a lot of guys do when they get those 2 fouls.
And that was good body control not to pick up a charge because Marshall Plumlee came over to cut him off, and he was able to get that shot off without charging into him.
He's got size on him right here.
Hairston, a 16-footer. And down to the rebound, Tokedo. 5th board already for Tokedo, doing a little bit of everything for the Heels. Page and Meeks getting set to come back in. McAdoo passed up an open jumper.
I don't think Page has scored yet. Has he scored?
Hairston did a nice job of closing out short to McAdoo and essentially giving him that jump shot to take away the drive. You have to play McAdoo as a driver.
Nice little hedge right there by Plumlee. He stepped right out very aggressively.
This time McAdoo will take it and make it.
He was not challenged. Go hand up. Allowed him to shoot the basketball. That's a non-Duke play defensively.
The Carolinas really fought their way back into this without Marcus Page being on the floor.
Hasn't scored tonight, getting ready to check back in. And they're back within 4.
See, I think North Carolina should just start the game at halftime. Tell Marcus Page it's halftime before the game starts. Let him have some oranges and give him a towel and tell him, all right, good luck in the second half.
What did he have, 31 of the 35 after halftime against State? Is Rodney Hood anything he wants right now?
He is putting a show on. His stock has to go way up for the NBA guys that analyze and evaluate. He's a pro, man. There is no doubt in my mind he's going to be a heck of an NBA player.
McAdoo, and another foul on Hairston. That'll be his 3rd.
McAdoo really challenging everybody. Every time he touches the rock inside, he's becoming very aggressive with the basketball. Look at Hood right here, Jay. This is just a great move.
Well, he was patient, Dick. Patient coming off that ball screen. He got a quick double, and he waited for it to retreat, and then he took it on. You don't have to blast off ball screens 1,000 miles an hour every time.
McAdoo, 52% from the line on the season.
He makes free throws. That's a big plus for them.
Changes for both programs. Parker is back into the game. Dawkins as well for Duke, and Page among those who return for Carolina.
Hey, the last time Duke lost 2 straight in the regular season, February 11th and February 15th, 2009, to North Carolina and to Boston College.
They led tonight by as many as 13. The lead is down to 4.
Full zone right now. Tokedo out top. 1-2-2. Tokedo will drop down. Good pass.
And I think it's going to be Meeks from behind. Or is it?
That's McAdoo.
It's McAdoo.
Wow.
It's McAdoo who's called for the foul, his 3rd, and he can't believe it. And Roy Williams is going to have to take him out again. Carl Hess calling him over, explaining to him what he did.
That's that verticality. If you don't have your elbows essentially behind your ears, they're going to call a foul.
I think they're going to go look. They're not sure.
No, it's on McAdoo.
It's on
McAdoo.
Yeah, that's 3. That's big. That's a big blow.
Carl Hess making a motion like McAdoo's arms weren't straight up and down.
Great story I read by Ben Cohn about Jabari Parker, Wall Street Journal, about the fact that he really has a severe nearsighted problem. He and I got something very much in common. He wears contacts. A nice kick out by Parker.
Well, that was a good look for Rodney Hood. Just didn't go down.
Great pass by Parker to get it to Hood.
And now Page fouled on a reach-in by Thornton.
Page, one of the premier free throw shooters in the ACC, could get on the board. Has not scored. Last 2 games, he has really had a struggle with Virginia Tech and with Notre Dame. But as badly as they played, they won. And Roy told us before the game, as long as you win, man, it feels pretty good.
Well, with McAdoo out of the game, you can look for Marcus Page to be even more aggressive and looking to attack. He might be 165 pounds, but he's one of the toughest players, not only in the ACC, but in the country.
Roy Williams was talking about if Page has a bad first half, the expression he gets at halftime is exactly the same as if he has a great first half, and he has no reservations about Page continuing to shoot the ball in the second half. That's paid off handsomely for Carolina this year.
Said he loves the ball when the game's on the line. I think Sumac's holding the ball too much.
Well, nobody's open. They got to move first.
Movement on offense, so important. Move without the basketball.
Parker.
Wow. Are you kidding me? Look at the different ways he can score. Right hand, left hand, strength.
And Page answers at the other end.
Just what you said a little bit earlier, Jay, he's going to be very assertive, very aggressive. He's going to put points on the board.
Well, North Carolina, after Jabari Parker made something out of nothing, and that's what he did, something out of nothing. Marcus Page got it up the court quickly and scored essentially in transition after the ball went through the net.
And that zone, there's that zone.
Isaiah Hicks in the middle, he'll drop down.
Parker no, and the weak side rebound down to Page.
He's going to look to attack.
And Hicks fouled by Hood to take us to immediate timeout. Now Jabari Parker rolling into double figures already here in the first half. Putting the ball on the deck, getting close to the rim and making some tough shots. But then Carolina coming right back with their leader, Marcus Page, driving the length of the court and laying in the tough layup to bring the Heels back within 6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Madison Square Garden, rivalries.
What those shoppers have done.
With the Arizona loss earlier today and a Kansas loss, it's interesting up near the top of the rankings right now. Joe Lunardi, after the Kansas loss and after the Villanova win, took Kansas off the #1 line, put Villanova up there.
Well, he must have heard me on game day, man. He must have heard me because I really believe Villanova not getting a lot of publicity and notoriety. They're 27-3. I mean, yes, they lost to Creighton twice and lost to Syracuse. But the bottom line is Jay Wright's kids have done a phenomenal job. No one projected them to be a top 10 team.
Jay, do you think an ACC team, under any scenario, can get a 1 seed going into the tournament?
Virginia can. It's possible. But a lot has to happen. I think Wisconsin is still in that as well. If Wisconsin were to beat Nebraska and then win the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis, I think Wisconsin would make not a good case, but a great case for a #1 seed.
Well, I think you said a little bit earlier in the game that they just had that one bad spurt where they lost those 5 games. That was it.
That's all they've lost.
Yeah.
What a steal by McDonald.
Nice pass.
And Page Johnson couldn't handle the pass, and Duke's got it.
Johnson wasn't ready for the pass.
Jefferson.
4-point turnaround. 4-point turnaround. Right there, it should have been 33-31. It's a 4-point turnaround.
McDonald. It's a 3 for Leslie McDonald.
How tough-minded is that kid to come off ready to shoot after that last play? You could be a little bit deflated, but they came right back and knocked down a big 3.
You know, guys, considering McAdoo has 3 fouls and Marcus Paige has 2 points, is Roy happy right now, only being down 4?
Well, coach is never happy being down, but I know what you're saying. I haven't met a coach yet that's happy being down.
They were down as many as 13 earlier.
Well, at least North Carolina, from their perspective, is running some better offense.
Parker, and it'll stay with Duke with 7 on the shot clock.
Because you're going to have to score in this game. And I think this thing is going to get up near the 80s. And you're not going to be able to rely just upon your defense. You're going to have to score as well and score efficiently.
And Bryce Johnson needing a little help getting out of the stands.
Dramatic bid in that league. And Gonzaga has played most of the year injured. Kevin Pangos had that turf toe, and that has been excruciating for him to deal with.
A conference that's going to get a lot of bids, be Atlanta. You watch the Atlantic 10. They are going to get a lot of bids. The SEC looks like Tennessee is going to get one now. Really played well today.
Dawkins. Dawkins, by the way, has gone over 1,000 career points tonight. He's at 1,002. He's got 5 tonight. This is his senior night. Page behind the back. Oh, Page to Johnson for another deuce, and Carolina's back within 2.
What a great transition play right there. Page with the great look. Johnson running the court. That's when North Carolina's at their best, Jay. When they were getting in transition after rebounding.
And how about the way he handled the ball against Pitt? What a pass.
And what a rejection by Johnson.
Johnson's really playing well off that bench.
Extra pass from Dawkins to Cook. Cook finds Parker, steps behind the line, buries it.
Tell you what, Parker, look for that line. That was a basketball IQ right there. Smart play. He looked for the line, backed up, and then he knocked it down.
Page wants to take Thornton.
And fouled by Parker. 2 free throws coming for Page. Second foul on Parker.
See, it looks for that lineup. Watch back up. Backs up. Great move. Hey, it looked like his nearsightedness didn't bother him there. He knew where the line was. It doesn't bother him shooting the basketball.
Wearing contact lenses this year for the first time. He is one of 15 Wooden Award finalists. They were named today. The only other players in the ACC who are on the list are C.J. Fair and Tyler Ennis from Syracuse. There are 4 freshmen on the list. You've got Ennis, you've got Parker, you've got Randall from Kentucky, and you've got Wiggins from Kansas, who, by the way, went off for 41 today, but Kansas lost to West Virginia.
He showed today why everybody was raving about why he's going to be a terrific pro. Has not had a first-team All-American year, but today he was
what a move by Parker.
That was big time. That was big time. He's feeling it, man. He's feeling it. This might be their last time looking at him in this arena.
Page with the answer. You talk about tough-mindedness. Page has made a few of those plays already here tonight.
And you talk about big-time players making big-time plays. Parker followed by Page. That was tremendous.
I don't think there's any doubt both guys are all ACC.
Shot clock turned off. Duke can hold for the last shot of the first half.
And here's where a rebound is a huge play, offensive or defensive.
There's that ball screen. Got to come off the ball screen.
Parker, the kick. Dawkins, the 3. In and out. Carolina's got time. Tokido. And the first half comes to a close with Duke leading North Carolina 40-37 as the Tar Heels battled back from as many as 13 points down to trail by only 3 halfway through. Let's go to Shannon Spake with Steve Wojciechowski.
Coach, in recent weeks, you guys have talked about the it factor with this team. You've certainly seen glimpses of it. Your overall thoughts on the 20 minutes?
Well, I thought we played hard, but we have to play much better. We gave up too many points in transition. That's how they score. and we gave up. We built the lead, and then we gave them layups. And that's how they scored. And they were fouling too much because they're living at the free throw line. If we keep giving them layups and we're fouling them, it's going to be tough. We can't rely on our offense to win. We have to play defense and rebound.
You told me you had to take...
Range here tonight. Dan Shulman, Dick Vitale, Jay Bilas, all nice and snuggly up here in the Crow's Nest at Cameron Indoor Stadium. That was a good first half. And Jay, Carolina was down by as many as 13. It's only 3 now.
I think they have to feel pretty good about being down just a bucket. They played very well in the last part of that first half. They defended well. They guarded the three-point line. And North Carolina wound up shooting 62%. James Michael McAdoo has 3 fouls, even though he had double figures in the first half and played well.
That's going to be really big, Jay, whether or not he gets that 4th. But also, really, when you think about it, I mean, Duke out-rebounds him. Duke only has 4 turnovers, and they're only up 3 because North Carolina was able to execute in transition and get a lot of layups.
Parker had a monster first half, and he picks up where he left off. He's got 18. Hood's got 11 for Carolina. McAdoo 11. Bryce Johnson 5 for 5, 10 points, and he starts the second half.
Parker has been unguardable in this game.
Remember that first matchup? He's played well early. Second half, he struggled, but he came out right away here with a quick deuce.
And it's off Johnson back to Duke as we say hello again to Shannon Spade.
Well, Dan, all season long, Coach Williams has stressed sense of urgency. He told me coming out of the locker room he didn't see that in the first half. Rather, he saw a sense of panic. He said he felt like it was the worst that they could possibly play over those 20 minutes. He mentioned the turnovers. He said we just got to clean it up. It was ugly.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Defensively, Carolina is keeping McAdoo and his 3 fouls away from Parker. McAdoo's on Jefferson. Bryce Johnson's on Parker. A 3. What a rebound by Jefferson, and he draws the foul. And is it McAdoo?
That was not a smart play by McAdoo. A great offensive rebound. A great offensive rebound by Jefferson. McAdoo's just got to let him go. You can get the basket back. You can't get that foul back.
Well, he's going to miss a lot of minutes now, and that's certainly a big, big loss for North Carolina. He's going out. There's a terrific inside position, a great rebound, and great positioning by Jefferson.
What a loss for Carolina. McAdoo goes out 52 seconds into the second half. Kennedy Meeks back into the game.
He's going to have to play now with a little bit of a bug in his stomach. Missed a lot of minutes early. They're going to need a quality performance out of him.
Well, let's see if Duke will try to involve Kennedy Meeks in ball screen action, see if they can draw him away from the basket.
Johnson with a tough move inside, rejected by Jefferson, gets it back and knocks down the jump hook.
He has really been the key reason why they're only down 4. He's been such a plus player off that bench. And also the fact that they've contained Duke from shooting the 3. 2 for 13. I mean, that has been a steady problem for them in games that they've lost.
Parker's going to go against Bryce Johnson now in the offensive end.
Misses the reverse, gets the rebound.
Playing so aggressively, really asserting himself.
And he's got Meeks on him now. And that's a good matchup for Duke. They're going to try to switch back.
Spinning by Johnson, and Johnson fouls him.
He really is unbelievable here tonight. I have never seen him all year as aggressive as he is in going to the basket. I've seen him drive, but not consistently like we're seeing here tonight.
Well, Bryce Johnson is an excellent offensive player. He is not as good of a defender. Doesn't get quite as low as he needs to in a stance, and that's a matchup, both he and Meeks, that Parker can take advantage of.
And this is where Roy Williams runs into problems with McAdoo on the bench. If he wants offense, he has Johnson in there. If he wants a better defender, maybe he brings in Hubert, but he's so limited offensively that it's a tough choice right now for Roy Williams.
Well, without McAdoo, you bring in Hubert, you take away any offensive weapon there. Bottom line is, with McAdoo sitting on the sideline, Page is really going to have to elevate his game, and so is McDonald. They're going to have to put points on the board.
A box set by North Carolina.
And the foul by Tyler Thornton.
Duke really trying to put pressure on Marcus Page so they can't run their play. Page has got to worry about how he's being played instead of running the play.
The one thing with North Carolina, you must keep them out of transition. If you're going to play them, make them play 5-on-5.
Good steal by Jefferson.
Good anticipation. He reacted really well to that lob pass.
Well, if you're going to throw a lob, you got to throw it up.
Dawkins struggling to maintain control. And eventually it's going to be a held ball, I believe, although we haven't seen the signal. And it will, and it'll belong to Carolina.
This is the time Duke has got to take advantage. And McAdoo out of the lineup. They have quickness with Parker versus whoever guards him, whether it be Johnson or Meeks, as Jay said. And they got to take advantage and get this spread up and force Roy Williams to have to make a decision as to when to bring in James Michael McAdoo.
This is where Marcus Page needs to look to create some of his own offense.
They're going to set some screens for him, Jay. They're not giving him any screens at all.
And Thornton forces a turnover.
What a great play by Tyler Thornton.
Those are the intangibles that he's done throughout his career. Not a guy that's going to get a lot of headlines, but he's going to help you win a lot of games. There he is right there with the deflection, knocks it out of bounds.
North Carolina nonchalant on that handoff, and Thornton able to just knock it away.
Hood sees a seam.
He can get to the rim, man. He can get to the rim. There are many combinations better than Parker and Hood.
Well, you involve North Carolina's big guys in some ball screen action. There was a ball screen slip, then a second ball screen, and that opened up the middle. And North Carolina's help side defense just slow in getting there to take away that drive and challenge Rodney Hood at the basket.
14 for Hood, 19 for Parker, Duke by 8.
I love his game, Hood. I really do think he's going to be a special NBA player.
And Page, a reach-in foul by Thornton. Well, Rodney Hood has the ability to take over a game. Sometimes, not that he's passive, I don't want to imply that, but he's not so unselfish, Jay. And he defers to his teammates so much that sometimes you think the numbers could be even bigger for Hood, as good as they are.
Well, there's no question. What a split by Page.
Gets it back. Nice feed inside.
Oh!
Missed a chippy.
Oh, Page did a great job splitting the defense and getting the ball back and making a great pass. Should have been a layup.
By the way, the foul on Thornton, his fourth. He's gone to the bench. Cook is in. Hood. And has it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Duke. Roy Williams trying to get a sub in. Nobody notices. Roy Williams is doing jumping jacks over on the Carolina bench, trying to get Meeks out and Hubert in.
Going for defense right now with Hubert.
Cook. Duke has outscored Carolina 10-2, now 10-4 to open the second half. Tough turnaround goes for McDonald.
Big play by McDonald. They needed that big deuce right there. But that last basket by Cook, that was created off the drive and the penetration of Parker, showing his versatility.
North Carolina in that 1-2-2 zone.
Dawkins open. They're starting to make them here in the second half, and they're stretching out the lead.
And that's their game. They become unbelievably tough to beat if they're making the trifecta.
Johnson fouled, and we'll step aside with the under-16 media timeout. Dickie V, you talked about it. When Duke starts making threes, they can play with anybody.
Absolutely. That's a little penetration by Parker. Cook gets the three. On the other side, they get in the zone. They're spacing. Dawkins squares really well. Nothing but nylon, baby.
I've found lately as a
7 of 13 from the field for the freshman. He has done it off the dribble. He has knocked down perimeter shots. He has been near unguardable in this ball game as Duke has opened up a 12-point lead over North Carolina. Brought to you by the new Cheez-It Grooves.
Well done, Jim. He certainly is in the groove tonight. He's having a monster night. And as you said, Dick, being so aggressive, driving the ball to the basket. The lead has grown from 3 at the half to 12 right now as Bryce Johnson steps to the line for the Heels.
Cheez-It groove, man. I got to get some Cheez-Its. I love that stuff. You know, when does he make a decision? He's got to be thinking on that sideline. I mean, you can't let Duke go up 15-16. He's got McAdoo sitting there as an assistant coach. He's had some problems this year with foul trouble.
He's got 4 right now. He picked up his 4th 52 seconds into the second half. Britt in for Johnson.
They were able to escape with a win with Florida State. I think you had the game, Jay, where he didn't score a point, I believe. Is that right?
He did not. McAdoo did not score. Had the same kind of foul issues in that one. And North Carolina is going to have to be disruptive on the defensive end.
Can't stop him. It's in a total mismatch. It's an M&M with McAdoo sitting down. They have no answer defensively for Parker.
Tokido off to Britt, who nails the baseline jumper.
That baby was spinning all over the place.
I'll tell you, Nate Britt, for a freshman, first game here at Cameron, he's playing well off the bench tonight. He's done some nice things.
Well, in the second half, North Carolina has been a half-court team, and that's what you want to try and make the Tar Heels because they're so good in transition.
And Tokido, another foul. That's his second.
They're going to every possession practically going to Parker.
Well, you have to. He's got an excellent defender on him in J.P. Tokido. But Tokido is much smaller. You can rise up and shoot over him. And Parker has just about every move in the book.
And Carolina's playing a very small lineup right now with Tokido at the 4.
And when you're smaller, you have to be disruptive, put more pressure, jump into passing lanes. You can't be passive.
16th 20-point game this year for Parker, tying Stephon Marbury for the second most such games by a freshman in ACC history.
First freshman ever at Duke to lead him in scoring and rebounding. Some NBA scout and NBA team's going to have a tough decision if he comes out. Who do you take, Parker or Wiggins?
And Embiid may be in the conversation as well. Cook. Yes.
Let's play horse. Let's play horse. You try to match that, Jay Billis and Dan Schumer. A little reverse with the left hand. Oh, what a play. This place is rocking.
And the foul on Andre Dawkins.
This is a great play right here. You're going to watch this here. Unbelievable. Watch this reverse to the left hand. Are you serious? That's a great play when you play the game of horse. Have you ever played horse? You never played horse?
I've never won.
Yeah, but you don't have to play. You don't have to play horse with a shot blocker coming after you, do you?
McDonald's and goes in on Parker, and you can see he knew right away he made a mistake.
Absolutely scored a basket.
Well, Duke is one of the best offensive teams in the country. They score on a 100 possession basis. They score 120 points per 100 possessions. That is the second best in the country, behind only Creighton. And Jay, when they're clicking, when 4 or 5 different guys are playing well, Hood's been one of them tonight. They're tough to play with. Duke here from Cameron Indoor Stadium, where the Raptors are literally shaking, and they shook a little bit harder after this last sequence from Duke.
Got a little two-man game off the ball screen, and then that draws in J.P. Tokido. And look at the floor spacing. Because there had been a cleared side and Rasheed Suleiman had gotten out of there to the other side, they'd loaded up 3 shooters opposite that two-man game, and Rodney Hood wide open after J.P. Tokido helped off.
I'll tell you one thing, they made 3 out of 4 threes in the second half, Duke. 7 of 10 field goals. That's 70%, man, in the second half.
Big screen by Hubert. Knocks Dawkins to the floor. McDonald winds up wide open for a 3.
And the reason he got wide open was that screen. That screen created the opportunity for McDonald.
Well, Great execution out of the timeout by North Carolina. Going back. Looks like a zone, that 1-2-2.
A lot of spacing in that zone, a lot of gaps.
The corners are going to be able, the big guys have to cover the corners.
Nice fake. Good ball reversal.
There it is.
It'll be Hood.
Skip pass was utilized really well against the zone.
Page, after the bump from Suleiman, knocks it down to bring Carolina back within 11.
They're not going to back down. They're going to keep coming at you, coming at you.
Well, especially Page. How tough is that player?
He's one of the best in the conference. As an example of being patient about a player. Last year he finished strong. He struggled earlier in the year. We have so much expectation so many times with these young kids out of high school. And I think the scrutiny is so severe early and we don't give them enough time to grow.
Well, you guys mentioned the great screen by Desmond Hubert. He set 2 of them there, and Leslie McDonald was able to get his feet set and knock down the 3. And then Marcus Page, watch how he delivers this blow and is able to pull up and knock down that lefty jump shot. He is a terrific player.
And he shot that over Suleiman, and that's some size.
And Page is all of about 160 pounds too, but tough and talented, and he's really been extraordinary in the second halves of games so far this year. Look at the difference in his numbers.
Incredible, especially when you look at his field goal percentage. Check the 3. Look at the 3. He doubles his total. Remember, Duke's got 32 in a row here. Carolina comes in as one of the hottest teams in America. You can say it also about Michigan. Congratulations to the Wolverines winning that Big Ten.
The 1-3-1. Roy Williams switching up defenses like he did in the second half at Chapel Hill.
They're going 2-1. They're going even against odd up on top.
Hood.
Oh, he's on fire, man. Hold the fire, Chief. Hold the fire, Chief. He is putting those nuts on fire.
This is the first game in conference play where Hood and Parker have both scored 20 points. They did it a number of times early in the season. They've done it here tonight, and guys, there's still 12 minutes left in the game.
And that was the conversation that we had before the game with Coach K. How he said, I have to get an A game out of Parker and certainly out of Hood. And he's got his wish here tonight.
Trying to isolate Parker in the low post.
I would get him in ball in his third possession, but it was a 2-man game. Hood and Parker.
Hood again.
Look at that work on the glass.
Jefferson all over it, keeping it alive, and Suleiman has possession now. Cook, it's a fresh 35 for Duke.
Terrific play by Jefferson to give him another possession.
Well, he is an outstanding offensive rebounder. That offensive rebound he got against Virginia to get it to Suleiman is one of the biggest plays of Duke's season.
Johnson fouls Cook. Cook will be shooting free throws when we come back. And McAdoo was at the scorer's table, so he'll be checking back in after this timeout with 4 fouls. And Carolina barely. Welcome back to Duke. Dan Shulman, Dick Vitale, Jay Billis, Shannon Spake. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. In the first meeting between these two teams, Marcus Page scored all 13 of his points in the second half as Carolina rallied from as many as 11 down in the second half, closed the game on an 18-6 run, and they won the game 74-66. It looks like Carolina will be that kind of a second half performance from Page to have a chance in this one. Shannon?
Well, Marcus Page told me that was the most satisfying win that he's ever been a part of since he's been part of this Carolina team. He grew up in Iowa. He said even there when he was a young boy, he used to watch this rivalry on TV, and he knew and knows what it means to be a part of it. And right now, just looking to get going. Second half Page is what his teammates call him.
They'll need second half Page. They're going to need some second half McAdoo as well. Back into the game with 4 fouls.
Tell you one thing they'll need is a drought by Duke. We don't see that happening. There's Jefferson in the camp. Duke has had droughts in the second half against North Carolina. They missed 13 shots in a row against Wake Forest the other day. They're up 7 with 6 minutes to go, and all of a sudden they're going on a 17-zip run.
McDonald knocks down an 8-footer that'll snap a 7-0 run. Duke still leads by 16.
It's hard to believe when you look at all their weapons offensively that they can go in these droughts that they faced this year.
Carolina back in a 1-2-2.
You know, wide open the foul line area is. Can use him as a passer, stepping somebody right at that foul line area.
And you can also try to exploit the corners in this because the big guys have to guard it.
Cook misses the 3. Jefferson another offensive rebound.
But Duke has dominated the offensive glass. Usually it's North Carolina that has an advantage on the offensive glass, but it has been Duke in this one. That's their 15th offensive rebound.
I think the loss of Meeks because of what's ailing them, the foul trouble with McAdoo has really hurt them.
Well, they're moving the ball nicely as well. Parker in the paint, gets the bounce. 25 for Jabari Parker.
There's the wide open area right by that foul line area. There's a big gap in there, and Parker took advantage of it.
And a foul going against Duke. It'll be on Suleiman. Duke's got 71 points with almost 10 minutes to go.
Well, they've been a scoring machine most of the year, except recently they've been really struggling to score the ball like they did earlier this year.
And another collision. If Duke wins this game, they will be the 3 seed going into the ACC tournament. North Carolina will be the 4 seed. And that means regardless of what happens tomorrow, if my tiebreaker math is right, Syracuse would be the 2 seed, setting up the possibility, just a possibility, of Syracuse-Duke Part 3 in the semifinals. Page no.
Parker doing it all, Jay. He's doing it all. Rebounding, scoring, attacking off the bounce, just playing like a flat-out PTP tonight.
Well, he's proven to be an elite rebounder in ACC play. He's averaged 10 rebounds a game. But Duke's really trying to spread the floor.
Trying to get really great spacing.
Parker, a rare miss. Johnson with a rebound.
First time in a long time Carolina's got out in transition. And Duke's fouling right now way too much.
And that's 1-1 already with 9 minutes to go. Now debatable, of course, the way Carolina sometimes shoots free throws, whether this is an advantage for them or not. They are on pace to have the worst free throw shooting percentage as a program that they've ever had, just 62% on the season. Tonight, they're 11 for 16.
You know, at one time, they're 11-7. They're 1-4 in conference play. And people are thinking, well, maybe they're lucky the NIT. Well, forget about it. Too much pride, too much passion, too much talent. And we always say, just think where they would have been with the kid Hairston.
Lighting it up in the D-League.
Yep. Tell you what, you look across the nation right now. I look at Virginia in this ACC. They represent, to me, a similar team as Butler. In fact, Mike Krzyzewski said the same today when we were there talking to him. Same thing like Butler when they had that great teams with Brad Stevens.
Carolina went a little 1-2-1-1. Full court pressure. Now back to man-to-man.
They got to come up with some stops. Duke has all the momentum, totally in control.
I think they got to go to Parker against McAdoo.
Absolutely. You got to know the situation. 4 fouls, attack him.
Jefferson, the kick to Parker.
Decided to do it all today.
Unstoppable tonight, now with 28.
His stock going way up. I want some of that stock, man. It's going way up. I'm calling my financial advisor, Mike Valdez. Come get me some of that stock.
How could it go any higher?
Tough play. That was a bad play right there. Can't make that play.
Duke will have 6 on the shot clock when we come back. Jabari Parker bringing down the house tonight with 28 points. Could be his last game here, assuming he is a one and done. And he's sure impressing people, even Tony Romo.
Hey, Tony's in the house.
Watching him tonight.
Look at Tony Romo. Throw it down and out, Tony. Come on, man. Throw it to Bryant.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. If you call yourself...
Chris, thank you. What an interesting day around college basketball. Arizona losing at Oregon and Kansas losing to West Virginia. How about the finish in the Clemson-Pittsburgh game when Clemson's up 5 with 15 seconds to go. Pittsburgh forces overtime and eventually they win it.
What about Iowa State getting a win over Oklahoma State because they refused to foul with like 5 seconds left on the clock.
In overtime.
The 3. They win it in OT.
Hood. Offensive foul. McAdoo was there in time.
Still made a great drive to the goal.
That took some guts by James Michael McAdoo just to take that risk.
Looked like he was there in time. So McAdoo remains in the game. Remember, he's been playing with 4. Page gets a clean look.
That was a well-run play. He set his man up so effectively and ran him shoulder to shoulder right off that screen.
Got a great screen from McAdoo on that play. Can't seem to come up with stops here defensively.
Back to the zone, 1-2-2 after the made field goal.
Duke able to execute.
Tokedo will drop down from the middle to try to clog up that middle.
Watch Parker flash to the middle. He's going to flash right in the middle, want the ball.
Cook to Suleiman. Boy, are they hot from beyond the arc in the second half.
They're executing. They're so efficient offensively. Have great spacing.
And again, the answer at the other end by Marcus Page.
Page, just a big-time player all year long. He's been sensational.
There has to be a collective awareness all the time for where Marcus Page is, because he is the one guy that can take over.
Can't trade baskets, though. If they want to get back in the game, they're going to find a way to contain him, play some defense. Duke will trade with him all day right now. There's Page. He was so active, moving without the ball.
Well, he did a nice job of setting up his cut there.
Yeah, he used the screen exceptionally well. So many guys don't know how to use the screen.
Duke was 2 for 13 on threes in the first half. They're 6 for 10 in the second half.
And that's what they were most of the year until they went on a little slide the last 4 games.
Well, North Carolina shot a terrific percentage in this game, but Duke has had far more shots in large measure because they've gotten so many second opportunities.
Cook cut off on the baseline, and it'll stay with Duke with 10 on the shot clock.
You're not going to beat Duke very often when both Parker and Hood are having a monster game.
And as mentioned before, this is the first time in ACC play where each of them has had 20 or more. Parker's got 28, 1 shy of a season high. Hood's got 20. The crowd helping Cook as they count down the clock, and Cook airballs it. And Roy Williams is unhappy that the shot clock buzzer sounded because Carolina maybe had a chance to run, and that stopped the game.
Well, I don't know that there was a whistle. Mike Krzyzewski asking for a walk because Nate Britt just stopped.
Somebody's going to be unhappy after this one.
I don't know. I don't understand what there is to talk about. Referees make a call, move on. What is it?
So they're going to put the shot clock at 35 and give Carolina the ball on the end line.
North Carolina had possession of the ball before the shot clock went off. Now the buzzer shouldn't have gone off. It should have just been reset.
Let's play ball, guys. Let's play ball. Too many conversations. Play basketball.
The NBA's two frontrunners for MVP will be showing their stuff at the Sunday Showcase tomorrow as LeBron and Miami take on Chicago at 1, and then Kevin Durant and OKC take on the reeling Lakers at 3:30. ABC's NBA Sunday Showcase. It all starts at 12:30 with NBA Countdown presented by Speed Stick Gear. McAdoo banks at home.
Nice little move inside by McAdoo. Hey, the other day, the Lakers, they showed a mercy rule. It was unbelievable when they were embarrassed by the Clippers.
They gave up 142.
That's all.
Lost by 48 points.
Wow.
And Hood is fouled. Both Hood and Parker have been driving the ball aggressively all night long.
They got great driving ability. Really attack really well. And we saw a team attack the other night. Michigan State. I'm telling people out there, you better listen. Never ever count out Tommy Izzo's club. Come tournament time, they are going to be so dangerous. They got a tough one tomorrow with Ohio State. But come tournament time, I still like that Michigan State team.
Big Ten tournament's going to be wild, don't you think?
Oh, it'll be wild, no question. They finally got all their parts. I mean, they got Appley looked really good the other night. Second half, they were brilliant.
Back to 16. Tokudo pulls up, knocks it down.
He's really been quiet offensively tonight.
Well, North Carolina's going to have to get some stops.
That's been their problem, Jed. They can't stop them defensively. Duke's been able to do whatever they want offensively.
This has been Duke's best offensive game in their last 5.
Parker, can he get it back? No, Carolina ball.
Just drove it into trouble. Didn't move the defense before he took off.
Tokudo, look at that athleticism.
He's very athletic. Both these clubs have terrific classes coming in next year. Paul Biancardi of ESPNU has them rated. He has Duke number 1. He has Carolina in the top 5. Kid named Pinson Jackson coming in. Barry, they're really excited. And obviously Duke with Okafor and Allen and Tyus Jones. They have another kid too, Winslow, right, coming in?
Justice Winslow,
yeah.
Ricky Winslow's son, who played at University of Houston.
Well, I didn't realize that. Ricky Winslow was terrific.
Shot clock running down. Hood has it knocked away. Shot clock violation. It'll be Carolina ball when we come back. Can the Tar Heels mount one last run at Duke here tonight? JP Tokudo starting to get hot, but they're still down a dozen.
Cheez-It brings you crispy new grooves.
What you got there?
Oh, new Cheez-It Grooves. It's a Cheez-It, but it's light and crispy like a chip.
Over the years, alongside Josh Hairston and Todd Zaporowski, the senior class of this year for Duke. Britt, Page, McDonald, Johnson, McAdoo, the best offensive lineup Roy Williams can put on the court. Did you get an assist on that?
Pass off the glass. Not bad. Not bad. And down to 10. Down to 10 if they can go put a stop or two.
Here comes the scramble trap.
And a timeout taken by Quinn Cook.
North Carolina looking for the lob, and James Michael McAdoo, they passed out of the double. Didn't have enough any pressure on it at all, but he just threw it off the backboard. That was just as good as throwing it right to him. Wound up. That was a good catch by Bryce Johnson.
Nice little play. Maybe he practiced that.
Johnson's got 15 points and 8 rebounds tonight.
Do they have one more run? Remember, Duke's won 32 in a row. Florida's won 32 in a row. What about a salute to Billy Donovan going 18-0. First time ever in the history of the SEC, and a Rock Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. It's the West Coast Conference Tournament. San Francisco, BYU in one semi, and then you can see what's going on. We've still got games coming tonight to decide the other semi. Right now, Santa Clara is up 1 on Gonzaga. So stay tuned for that.
Everybody chases that dream. Other than the Ivy, we're Harvard. Tommy Hammaker's done a great job. Isn't it 3 years in a row now in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, 4 Ivy titles. They tied 1 year with Princeton and lost the playoff game. That's 4 Ivy titles in a row for Harvard. Next year, it's 1 for the thumb.
And they're dangerous.
Very dangerous.
They're a very good team.
Well, they beat New Mexico last year in the second round.
Tommy's done a great job. Former Duke floor general. Played with our buddy here, Jay Billis.
Not a good foul by Nate Britt. That clock was going down. You just have to stay solid and make a stand. 10-point game. You don't want to give up free throws.
Well, Duke right now, if they convert on the free throw line, they will make life easy. If they don't, North Carolina gets an opportunity to claw back. They have a 12-game winning streak. Duke has 32 in a row here at home.
They've got some very good free throw shooters on the court. Cook's at 82. He's at the line. Thornton's 83. Hood's 81.
That's such a plus when you got guys that can step out and close the game for you by making free throws. Toughest loss of the year has to be what you mentioned earlier. I did not see it. 5-point lead with 15 seconds, and they got beat Clemson.
Yeah. Clemson just couldn't inbound the ball. Josh Newkirk hit a 3 to put him in overtime.
Page.
Wow. Wow. You talk about a tough shot. What a star he has been. Certainly an all-ACC performer, Marcus Page.
But how about the concentration on the part of Page, coming off that screen and curling off it, and a bad foul by Tyler Thornton. A potential 4-point play, and this would be the third 4-point play that Marcus Page has completed in the last 30 days or so.
And that foul by Thornton is his 5th, so a senior fouls out. He walks off this court for the last time. Got to feel better that he's played well and contributed to what he hopes is a win. They're up 8 with 2:49 to go.
Tell you one thing, North Carolina has not gone away. There's been no quitting these kids. They have been battling. What was the biggest margin? They were down, what?
At least 17, and now Carolina's got the ball back. Another deep one. And tapped back in by Johnson. Wave it off. Mike Eads says basket interference.
And I think that ball was going to go in if it wasn't touched.
Had a chance. The way it was bouncing, it had a chance. Take a look. We're way up in the catbird seat here.
No, maybe not. Just off, but you have to leave that one alone.
No doubt that was a good call. Bad place to get the ball in the corner.
Carolina ball.
Well, it's just been turnover after turnover. Duke catching along the sideline, and North Carolina has made a lot of things happen with pressure and traps, and Duke has not been strong with the ball.
Look at Parker trying to settle down Suleiman. Suleiman's upset about the call, and Parker says forget about it. Let's play some defense.
A little passive right there. Duke, here comes North Carolina. You know Page is going to want to score. Put the ball in Page's hands.
Another 3.
Got a block by Parker.
Good defensive play right there by Duke.
And Britt fouls Cook again.
And Cook, as you said earlier, an excellent free throw shooter, better than 82%.
I don't know why North Carolina is fouling here. Terrific play by Parker to step up and block that shot with his left hand.
He has done it all tonight. Great defensive play right there by Parker. He's made jump shots, drives, rebound. There's the art of the deal. Closing the deal on the free throw line. Simplicity.
And North Carolina's done such a good job of forcing turnovers. That's why you don't want to foul.
Especially a team that can convert and make their fouls. Is there a miracle?
And Jefferson is fouled. That's the 10th on Carolina. Double bonus, 2 free throws the rest of the way for Duke. Stay tuned for SportsCenter coming up next year on ESPN. Jay Harris and Robert Flores. A look at both Kansas and Arizona losing today. LeBron is back in Cleveland, and Tiger tames the Blue Monster.
You know, Arizona, what a job Sean Miller's done. They lose the kid Brandon Ashley, and they really kept playing well. Lost a tough one today. Oregon on the road.
Well, they struggled to score. Only scored 57 in that one. Did not shoot well from the perimeter, and that's really the one weakness that they've got.
Johnson's been great all year. He's been terrific fit on a clutch player.
Parker, another rebound.
What a big-time rebound.
Well, if this is his last game on this court, he's going out in style.
Absolutely. I think he's played like that tonight. I really do. I really do. I would be very surprised if he came back to score. He stocked us so high.
Just wedged his way in there out of the second slot. He's stronger physically than Bryce Johnson.
I know Embiid has great potential. I know Embiid is going to be probably a great player. But I'm telling you, my friends, you're sitting there, it's going to be tough to say no to this kid or to Wiggins.
Well, that's the tough decision about it, because Joel Embiid has a chance to be like Elijah. He really has a chance to do that. I'm not saying he's going to, but he has a chance. And Wiggins is going to keep getting better and better as well.
And so is this kid.
No question. Well, that's the point of how difficult the decision is going to be. But you'd probably rather have the third pick get it taken out of your hands.
Yeah.
McDonald.
He's been quiet tonight. Had a big game when they beat Duke. He had 21. He's been real quiet tonight.
And now, because we're inside the last 2 minutes, the officials can go to the monitor to see whose ball it should be. They can decide who it went out of bounds off of.
You know, hasn't got enough publicity and notoriety. I really think it's sad in a way. Virginia has been terrific. I mean, I'll be down to spring training tomorrow. Going to see the Orioles play. They say hello to you, by the way.
This crowd, even by Cameron standards, in my opinion, has been unusually loud and fired up here tonight. John Jackson, one of our good friends in the athletic department with Duke, tells us that tents started going up in Krzyzewskiville for this game in January. So parents, all that hard-earned money that you've spent on your sons and daughters coming to school down here has been well spent. They've been camping out on and off for a couple of months. Page with a floater, yes. And a timeout taken by Roy Williams.
He can score in so many ways. What a year he's had. It's great to see a kid improve so much, watching his game get better and better.
But Jabari Parker has not been good. He's been magnificent in this game. 30 points, 9 rebounds, and he's got his points in every way imaginable. Off the post, driving the ball, in the post, knocking down three-point shots, one in transition. He's got the whole thing. And if you look at the best available, I don't know why they say big board. I don't have a big board. I've got a yellow pad. But Jabari Parker, I think, is the best player that's available. I think Embiid is the best prospect, followed by Wiggins. But you're looking at a lot of really good players in this draft. Aaron Gordon down at number 8. Not as good of a shooter, but very skilled, a terrific athlete, outstanding rebounder, and terrific defender.
I'm going to tell you, kid, that's going to surprise a lot of people. He's not in the top 10, probably not even in the top 12. You want to take a look at McDermott, the way he can score the ball, shoot it. I'm telling you, McDermott's going to be a very good pro.
What a save by Page, but then Tokido can't finish.
And Parker gets another double-double. Now he goes for 30 and 10.
His 6th double-double in a row. Also 30 points tonight for Parker, the most ever by a Duke freshman in a game against North Carolina.
Big story in this game was James Michael McAdoo getting that 4th foul early in the second half, and that put North Carolina into a big mismatch.
And Duke continues to make free throws. They're 20 out of 23 tonight as they try to salt away this win.
That's not bad, huh? That's pretty good. Wow, it's almost as good as you, Dan Schumann.
Jefferson for Dawkins, and is that the last time that Dawkins walks off the court here at Cameron?
He's determined to score. He's determined to score right there.
He's got 16 in the second half, 22 on the night. Got a full day of conference championships for you in women's hoops action tomorrow on ESPN. The Big Ten will bring you Iowa and Nebraska, then the SEC's Kentucky, Tennessee, Duke, Notre Dame, and the ACC, and then the Pac-12 championship still to be determined with the championship game.
Too. They got guys that come off that bench that really contribute. I was so impressed with them when you and I had them last week against Syracuse.
Well, Justin Anderson is such a terrific athlete coming off the bench. A left-hander really impacts the game.
And again, if Duke wins tonight, that will lock down the top 4 spots in Greensboro. Syracuse will be the 2, Duke will be the 3, Carolina will be the 4.
Syracuse needs a win badly, but Florida State can really help themselves big time beating Syracuse tomorrow.
Right now, Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist, has only 5 ACC teams in the tournament. He's got Florida State as one of his first 4 out.
Well, they can close it and get back in. Leonard Hamilton, who does a great job down there with a win over Syracuse.
The clock ran too far after that whistle. So I don't know if the officials are noticing it. North Carolina certainly has, and they're saying something about it.
So we might have another review.
He's such a fighter, man. Such a competitor, both these coaches. Our buddy Hubert.
They don't look at it that way sometimes. 2 great competitors, 2 Hall of Famers. Carolina defeating Duke February 20th in Chapel Hill, and Duke on its way to exacting a measure of revenge here tonight.
Very tough team to beat back-to-back. They don't lose very often. We said regular season 2009 was the last time Duke lost back-to-back games.
Britt lays it in. 89-79, 30 seconds to go. And Roy Williams will use another timeout.
You know, Meeks, they're going to be good players. And with those kids coming in next year, the talent to bring it in, they're going to be really another team again. Cancer. How badly was she battling cancer? They said she had about a week or 2 to live. She was at that game, 26 years of age, was a former player, and her smile and how excited she was to be there. It just, when I left with my wife and I was so touched by her. Chris, her husband, I want to simply say, our sympathies are with you. She lost her life about a week after that game. I know you met with her too, Jay.
A beautiful soul.
Yeah. What a smile she had. What a smile. It was unbelievable. She was so happy and thrilled. Her dream was to be at a Duke, North Carolina game. She sat in the first row. Adam Lucas did a great story. Brings you the cheers in North Carolina about the day.
Hood and Parker together have been terrific in this game.
They've had not their A game, Dan Shulman. They've had their A+ game.
And Dawkins got an extra ovation. Got back into the game and now back out, the senior. 53 combined points for Parker and Hood. Make it 54.
Isn't it amazing how coaches can feel that? And that was the conversation before the game, that we needed a great performance of our 2 stars.
Another basket for Page.
He needed a little help from some friends.
McAdoo had foul trouble much of the night, still scored 13 points. And McDonald will foul Suleiman as Carolina not willing to let it go yet. And now the Crazies are turning their wrath on Roy Williams for all the fouls. As close as 8 miles is, sometimes in this rivalry, it must feel like a long bus ride back to your campus when you lose this game.
Everything's long when you lose this game, but you got to move on to the ACC tournament, because at the end of the year, Well, that's when both these teams need to be at their best. You give everything you have in this game, but when it's over, you got to move on to the next play.
Well, that's really important and part of coaching. And the great coaches, the Patinos, the Izzos, the guys we talk about, they're really masters in not allowing one loss to become 2 losses and 3 losses. So many guys, they get down on the kids. You got to find a way to just forget it and move on. It was all due tonight. A salute, a tip of the hat. Parker and Hood were absolutely awesome, baby, with a capital N.
What a performance by Jabari Parker tonight. The freshman winding up with a season-high 30 points, dismantled the Tar Heels defense, Jay, about every which way you can.
Well, what didn't Jabari Parker do? He was scoring in every way you can possibly score in a basketball game. He rebounded, blocked a couple of shots, was a little more active defensively than he has been, but on the offensive end, he was absolutely unguardable. It didn't matter who Roy Williams put on him. Jabari Parker put on a show.